Okay, so I think we can start now. Thanks again to all of you for joining and taking the time to listen to this webinar. Welcome to Exterro Inform. We are very glad that you joined. And yeah, I would like to briefly tell you what Exterro Inform is. It's a global virtual event. It consists out of 15 webinars across, driven by 15 different experts, or even more than that. As today, for example, we have 2 experts on this webinar to dive deeply in the topics of collaborative forensics, cloud incident response, and insider threats. And so I would like to give you some short housekeeping rules before we start. You can submit your questions anytime in the Q&A window. If there's no time during the webinar, we will get back to you and answer the question afterwards. Then if you would like to join the webinar after this session, you simply need to stay online. You'll be automatically transferred to the next webinar. And that link which you have is also valid throughout the entire day. So even later tonight, we have sessions until 11 p.m. because we have sessions in the US as well. You can still join with that link. And then the webinar will be recorded. So we will send you the recording in the next days. And that should be it. And if you have any questions, for sure, put them in the chat. We will answer them. So we are very happy to have Lorenzo Dina, Senior Digital Forensic Manager from Bit4Law in Italy, Adam Masbari, Senior Manager Forensic Investigations and Litigation Services at Forvis Mazars, and our Catherine Hill, Sales Director at Exterro. And I'm very happy to hand it over to them now. They will introduce themselves. And I forgot to mention myself. My name is Lilian Kruger. I'm in the marketing team of Exterro Europe. Thank you. Over to you, Lorenzo.
Okay. Hi, good morning or good afternoon, according to your time zone. I'm Lorenzo Dina, Senior Digital Forensic Manager in Italy at Bit4Law. In my past 25 years between cybersecurity, digital forensic, and incident response. I'm really happy to join this session, and I'll let Adam introduce himself.
Thank you, Lorenzo, and thank you, Kat, and thank you, Lilian, actually, for the kind introduction and the brief overview. So my name is Adam Masbari, and I'm a senior manager at the Forensic Investigation and Litigation Support Services practice at Forvis Mazars in Paris, France. And I actually look forward to sharing more detail about our work at Forvis Mazars in just a few moments. I also look forward to discussing this session with Lorenzo and Catherine. And I hand this over to Catherine.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Catherine Hill. I'm one of the Director of Sales here at Exterro. Exterro, we offer a comprehensive platform for data risk management, leveraging automation, workflow optimization, and responsible AI, covering e-discovery, privacy and data governance, digital forensics, and cybersecurity compliance. And yeah, we really hope that you find today's session really informative with our exciting guests. So going back to you, Adam.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. So just in a few words, to give you a global picture about with Forvis Mazars. So Forvis Mazars is a global network operating about 100 countries worldwide. We are specialized in audit and accounting, financial advisory, tax services, and all related consulting solutions. We serve actually a diverse range of clients across both the public and private sectors, including industries such as professional services, banking and finance, telecommunication, and real estate. So as you can see on the screen, Forvis Mazars is ranked among the top 10 consulting firms globally, with more than 40,000 professionals that are working across, as just said, more than 100 countries, and a network of more than 400 combined offices worldwide. And among its financial advisory services, so we have the forensic service line and litigation support service. So our team, we work to support clients in different contexts. So for example, we help support our clients in conducting internal investigations in, let's say, cases of suspected fraud, whatever the nature might be. So we have a team of forensic experts that can assist clients in various cases of suspected or proven cases of corruption, misappropriation of assets, accounting or tax fraud, market abuse or security offenses, but also money laundering, harassment, or any other misconducts. We also support our clients in cases of litigation disputes, as we act as witness experts in different matters, such as industrial disaster damages or any other disputes in the context of international arbitrations. So to put it in a nutshell, that was just a brief overview of what we do quickly at Forbis Mazars. Hand it over to Lorenzo.
Thanks, Adam. I work with Bit4Law, digital forensic company, more boutique style in Italy. We are actually celebrating 10 years in the market. We have 20 professionals really focused on the skills of digital forensics. 5 offices in Italy. The headquarters is in Bologna. We have ISO certifications specific in the digital forensic area. And in the last year, we processed 200 terabytes of data in cases in around 300 cases, just to describe the kind of caseload we have during our normal year. Our process cover hand to hand the need of the customer, and we start with the interview with the client, with the legal team, and we cover all the phases that are needed in a typical digital forensic project. We cover the collection of the data, the analysis, the evaluation, the subject matter, up to the judicial phase and supporting the legal team and the client in the court. That's Bit4Law in a nutshell. It's an Italian company that it's open to multiple collaboration and partnership around Europe and with multinational companies that we supported in Italy and in other countries. Catherine, to you.
Thank you so much. So France and Italy, 2 of my favorite countries for food, as we're around lunchtime for everyone. So as we know, today is going to be a roundtable discussion. So we've got some questions that we're going to run through, some sort of top topics that we'd like to discuss. But if anyone in the audience has got any questions that they would like for either of our speakers, please pop your questions into the chat, and we'll be doing a Q&A session at the end, and we will hopefully run through those. So sort of the main first topic that we'd like to discuss today, which I'll put to Lorenzo and Adam, is what are the biggest challenges the forensic teams are facing when dealing with large volumes of unstructured data in their investigations?
Yeah, multiple format of unstructured data. It's something that it's really challenging to deal with, and the amount of data is increasing day by day. We were complaining in the past about the data size of the consumer technology when the phones one phone had the data of 10 corporate PC, and now we are facing the cloud, and then one cloud account have the data of one data center, and then it's increasing, and then processing this kind of unstructured and diverse data, it's become challenging. And then having tools that support you in this kind of analysis in a timely fashion, it's really important. FTK is our go-to tool for most of these needs, and there are sometimes some niche situation where we needed to develop ourselves the tool because the kind of data was so difficult that no tool was able to process it. But having to ingest all this data and getting the sense, getting the big picture, and connecting all the dots, it's day by day. It's more and more difficult and time consuming. Even if the tools are powerful and the machines help us with a lot of power in processing the data, that it's really challenging.
Yeah, and I mean, whereas I couldn't agree with you more. I think that, as you said, like the diversity of data is like one of the main challenges that we are facing. And to add on top of that, I think that the fact that we are facing a more diverse set of data or range of data, and the fact that we have this really large volumes of data, we are also facing what we call this range of data noise, meaning that most often the unstructured data that we are collecting from our clients and for our projects, they contain a high proportion of data that is quite irrelevant or redundant, and that needs to be filtered out and to be sorted. So we most often actually lose quite time to identify meaningful evidence within this vast amount of noise, and that can be quite time consuming. And we know that in most our projects, time sensitivity is a really important subject, especially in most investigation cases. Our clients, they are also constrained by time. So this is a really immense challenge that we are facing. And also, I think one of the second challenges, and this can be very specific, I think, depending on the company or on the firm. But for example, here in Forbis Mazars in Paris, we have made actually the choice to have our servers of FTK Central to be on premise, meaning that all the clients' data and servers are managed by our in-house IT teams. Which means that whenever we are facing large volumes of data to be collected and stored, we have to coordinate and we have to liaise closely with our IT team and with the clients to ensure that our servers are being updated to have the full capacity of our eDiscovery servers to store those those data. Sorry. So this adds up actually more step of strategy of planification and the planning ahead of the project to make sure that everything is quite planned and anticipated quite ahead of time.
Thank you. So we'll move on to our next topic, which is about automation and advanced tools. So we've got two questions here. We'll start with the first. What are the limitations of current search capabilities and how can they be addressed to further improve efficiency?
Yeah. You want to go ahead, Adam? No. Yeah,
I mean, whenever I think about search capability, I mean, we both of us are using FTK Central, so I think that we will be having similar inputs about the subject. But whenever we are talking about, I mean, depending on the recent cases that we encountered, like in the recent months, the biggest issues or limitations that we face is that the larger data sets are, the slower the search speeds maybe are resulting. And sometimes we may also like face, dependent also like on the processing, either incomplete indexing or high chances of sometimes system failures, which can affect afterward the processing and the review of the case. So the only viable solution that we found is to make sure to reduce the base of the searchable database, and to continue the search with filters and combining a set of filters. I don't know, Lorenzo.
Yeah, and carefully pick the right things to search, because sometimes customers like to search everything, and finding an agreement on what to search, when to search, and how that have impact on how the index is created, and how the search will perform. Then I think that the defining the things at the beginning helps a lot during the investigation. Otherwise, the search will be too complex to run, or too slow to run.
That's right. And then on that note, in what ways has automation transformed the data review process in forensic investigations?
Yeah, I think that automation it's a really useful tool, but for straightforward repetitive processes. I mean, if you have a lot of small easy things to do, it helps a lot, because you can distribute the case among different analysts with different experience, and then you can make the automation helps in speeding up the things and making the things repeatable. But it's not gold. It has to be supervised, and by a human that need to control the task. You need to trust the process once you define the automation, but you need to verify and validate. And validation is a must if you are an ISO certified company, or if you follow that kind of approach. You need to do quality assurance on all your processes, and then you need to check also if the automation are working as expected. Otherwise, you end up missing things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree. And especially like same, I think that it depends, like for example, if we take the life of a project, I think that on our end, maybe we have limited the automation process at the beginning of a project, like let's say from the creation of a project to assigning custodians and members and roles to the project. But we haven't done that, let's say, to the coding and review of the project per se, because it's still something that we need a human review afterward, and an investigator actually to go afterward. So we will not just put an automated process to, let's say, go through the documents and assign a tag to a document, or say this document should be always tagged this way, because we will, I mean, depending on the confidentiality and the sensitive aspects of the project, we will have to make sure that those coding or this automated process has been done correctly, or it will need to be reviewed either way. So it's losing actually the time that has been gained afterwards. So we prefer to keep it really restrained, as Lorenzo said, to very repetitive tasks.
Thank you. So let's move on now to what you see as being best practices within workflow optimization. So are either of you able to share maybe some specific examples of workflows that have been streamlined using tools like FTK Central? And going on from that, how would you look at training your teams to be able to adopt new technologies and workflows effectively?
Yeah, okay. Let me start with an example that I think it's really effective. We used FTK standalone for a long time, but in many cases we needed to share the review process with third parties. And so we used other external web-based e-discovery tools. And then at the end of the review, we imported back to the data to our FTK, and a lot of moving of data, a lot of manual processing between multiple platforms, and that was time-consuming, manual, and prone to errors. And then we changed our workflow to use FTK Central, and in this way we were able to work on one system instead of multiple systems. Then the investigators can use an interface that is also accessible to external parties, a web interface, and that helped a lot in the review process, and not having that manual movement of data.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think on our side, which was really interesting in terms of FTK Central, was the fact actually of having a centralized case management portal, because it was really important for us, especially that we work, as I mentioned before, in really international environments, and we tend more often to work with the different offices across the world, to have a centralized dashboard where all our cases are centralized, and where all the investigators, whether their location might be, can actually manage multiple cases all at once, but in one place. And it actually allows us to easily track the case status, the user activity, and the management of each case. And to, I mean, it's really related to that, but it's helped also collaboration across teams, because one thing that was really interesting and important to us was the collaborative side of FTK Central. So, for example, if I'm working on a case and I'm doing a search, or I'm creating a tag that I think that it's really interesting and important for the other members of the team, where I can simply create it, save it, and share it with the other members of the team. And I'm sure that it will be available easily on the other screens that are available from the other side. And I think also third point would be the remote access actually to data, because the web-based platform was a huge plus that we were looking for, to allow every user and each user to have access to the platform by only having the authorized access, and by only needing internet connection, actually, without having any installation on their computer.
Right. Okay. Let's talk now about collaboration and cross-border challenges. How do you go about ensuring secure and seamless collaboration between your teams that are working across borders, especially when you're managing that sensitive data?
Yeah, so I mean, as I said, we most often that happens like almost like So we usually, when we collaborate with other offices, let's say across Europe, in Asia, or in any other continents, we are most often dealing with data that is sensitive and confidential. So when it comes to extracting data that is located in a foreign country, let's say, the first step that we do is to consult with our legal experts that are on site to make sure that we are compliant with the local laws and regulation of each jurisdiction in terms of data handling. And sometimes we also can actually liaise with the clients and their legal team to make sure how we can extract data. Because, I mean, we're talking about extracting data, it's not always electronic extraction of data and just a copy. Sometimes we also have to go on site and make like literal copy, or like bring the disks back from one country to another country. So we need to take into consideration different aspects of data handling from one jurisdiction to another.
Okay, so what strategies have proven effective for you in maintaining that compliance with the international regulations during cross-border investigations?
Yeah, so we usually, I mean, first thing is to make sure that there are no laws prohibiting the extraction of data. That's actually the first thing, that to make sure, and that there are I mean, extraction or even consulting data from another country, because like sometimes there are really strict regulations about even for us here in France connecting on a computer and consulting the data from here, like on another country. So we need really like to make sure that we are compliant with that, and that's why I said it's really important to make sure that we coordinate with the legal experts. I mean, on that point. Afterward, when it comes to really making sure that internally we build a seamless collaboration, we have collaboration protocols that are signed and elaborated between offices to make sure that the collaboration is effective. So we have intra-firm agreements that are signed. And we also make sure to have in place collaborative platforms to exchange work documents on the subject. Of course, we keep track of a chain of custody if the data is collected from one place and handled to some, and chain actually to trace to somewhere else. And that's something actually that is I already discussed before. Since eDiscovery is a web-based platform and user-friendly, all our colleagues actually in other offices have been able to ramp up really quickly and to be trained in quite a quick and short time to be able to use it and collaborate on it effectively in a short time.
Thank you. So very quickly then, do you have any kind of some key approaches to being able to minimize the review time without compromising the accuracy of the results that you're getting?
In terms of international collaboration, or just
yeah.
Well, I think the first thing would be to define, I mean, to the strategy that is defined with the clients at first, because, and to be more realistic about the time that, for example, the data handling would take, because, I mean, and it's actually an ongoing also case that we have right now, but sometimes we can really discover that sometimes data handling from either from an office to another can take quite a long time, depending on how depending on the encryption from one system to another, and that's what we discussed in the challenges, depending on the regulation and how long it will take, for example, to get the required team that has the right certification and capabilities to go and make the copy in a right country, and also to filter out and sort out all the data noise to make sure that we target the right data. So keeping the expectations of the client kind of realistic since the beginning will actually help target and have a more realistic approach to the case, and aim for more realistic results and approach at the end.
Yeah,
Great.
setting the expectations that it's a slow, painful process. There is no magic. There is no CSI effect. There is no
Unfortunately not,
case
no.
solved just clicking things on a keyboard and staring for 20 seconds and finding the solution there.
And there's always
ultimately the accuracy of the results is the main thing that you're after, isn't it? So yeah,
and there's always like a surprise effect at one point, because like we always make sure to handle and to cover everything, but with every case there is always there always like a joke that we are always like discovering and learning a new thing with every case, because like there's always like something new that is popping on a new case, and something we haven't really kind of anticipated before. But it's also what keeps actually the job kind of interesting and exciting. So
well, talking of interesting and exciting, let's move on quickly to the future of forensic investigations, which, is constantly rapidly adapting, which is exciting. So what emerging technologies do either of you see, or any trends that you think are going to further revolutionize forensic investigations?
Yeah, I really love adapting and studying and taking innovation in the day-by-day work, and I think that for many good reasons the forensic world has been more conservative in adopting some new technologies. I see that there are many artificial intelligence based technologies that could really help in streamlining the process or achieving results that were not possible before for different reasons. I think that the machine translations AI based is something that it helps in dealing in cases with a more diverse and connected world. We deal with the people talking in so many languages in multinational companies in cases that are complex, or also the summarization that the artificial intelligence helps in understanding big texts and getting the sense of large document that otherwise we need to scroll, to read, to search, and getting the sense through a summary. It helps a lot in speeding the process.
Yeah, well, of course, we've got to talk about AI, haven't we? And that the role that plays in enhancing data review in the next couple of years, insignificant.
Yeah, it's something that if we get to the point that the AI will be safe to be used in these use cases, because there are a lot of things that need to be checked. But once you change the approach and then you start to have a conversational approach with the case, and not just a keyword approach, then you can have an interaction and search in a different way, more question-faced interface, and not using just the keyword. That it's something that will be a game changer in the future.
Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, no, I do agree, because I think that, I mean, in the recent years and even like in the future, AI would be the main subject that we're gonna all be hearing about. Although we envision that AI would potentially be, I mean, identifying all the relevant evidence by learning from all these cases and helping us target and reduce the time. And I think that's something you pinpointed at the beginning of your answer, Lorenzo, about saying that the forensic have been like kind of shy about AI. I think that, I mean, the key limitation of AI, I mean, as we see it in forensic investigation, is related to the fact that we are really dealing with the high confidentiality stakes. So we still cannot really use it, for example, to be, I mean, as machine learning, let's say. So we cannot, because of the confidentiality of our cases and our projects, we cannot use the AI to push it to learn from one project and then apply it on another project so that it can look for the patterns that it has identified. So it kind of hinders its potential. But I still think that, I mean, as Lorenzo said, it had a lot of potential in terms like of search, in terms like of text searching, etc. And in terms of other aspects, I also think about cloud forensics. I mean, speaking about us as we are still on-premise, I think that it will completely and quickly replace all the on-premise practices. As we see, it's something that all companies and all also the service providers are pushing for. And I think that in a word, and we were talking about how international collaboration is being really the center of the work. I think that cloud forensic also, it's going to be really something that's going to replace the on-premise practice once and for all.
Yeah, on both, I think on both sides. I mean, the cloud will be the source and the target of the investigation. I mean, running an investigation on the cloud about the cloud of someone else and let the clouds fight themselves without moving the things from cloud and on-prem and on-prem on cloud. Let the things run on the cloud where they stay. Yeah, there are that's a thing that you can't deal with the cloud scale on-prem. It's maybe one time you are lucky the cloud environment you are looking at it's small enough that your on-prem it's big enough, but otherwise you will need a cloud environment to accept the data of a cloud environment. At some point that will become obvious, but we are still working on it. Some projects are still closely on-prem, and we are. I think that Adam, we can agree that we are on the easy part of the world. I mean, public sector have closer, stricter requirement than some of our cases. Then we need to be on the safe side, and though there need more and more strict requirement.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's just talk about real world applications. Could either of you share a case study or success story maybe where innovative forensic workflows have made a significant difference in the outcome?
Yeah, we had a problem. We had analysts sitting on the desk listening to hours of WhatsApp voice notes. That's a really time-consuming task, boring. And then we decided to try to solve this issue. Because if the analysts get bored, reduce the attention, lose the details, that's human. That's something that need to be addressed. Then we have one business problem, giving the customer the result back on time and keeping our analysts happy to do that kind of work. Then we designed a workflow, and this workflow connects the extraction of data from the mobile phone, extract all the voice notes, likely the WhatsApp voice note that in Italy it's really popular, and then push all the voice notes, the audio file, to a conversion system that transforms the audio in text. And then this text goes to FTK Central, get indexed, and then the analyst can run the search on the text, then have predefined keywords and can scroll all the conversation in a textual way that is much more faster, and with the support of FTK Central goes directly to the point where the conversation is interesting. And from this process, that is not perfect, because the conversion is not 100% perfect. That's normal, because the language is complex. In Italy, we have many dialects, and some of these dialects are another language. Then these tools are not good for all the cases. But if you have a recording of a decent conversation in a normal Italian, you can get the text. And then if you are happy with the conversion and with the text you are reading, once you are to the right point, then you are finding the things you are looking at. You go back to the original audio file and you listen just that bytes, and then that saves hours of work, because the conversion is parallelized, is straightforward, and it takes hours of audio in minutes in text. And then the analyst can perform a much faster and better analysis. And we keep the accuracy under control, providing this kind of loop. Then once you find a positive hit in the text, you need to verify the original audio and listen that is saying the right thing. Then we keep the validation in the loop of this result. This is obviously an option where you do not need the certified translation, but it's something that you can add at the end. Then you speed up the process, you get the point you need, and then you ask for the certified translation of just the part that is the positive hit that you are looking at.
Thank you. What lessons can be learned from handling complex investigations that obviously involve high stakes and tight deadlines? Adam, I don't know if you wanted to jump in on that one.
Yeah, I can. Well, just quickly, I think because we've already tackled a couple of points before, but I think the main points would be, just on top of my head, early planning and a clear strategy would be like the most crucial lesson, because having a clear and well-defined strategy from the start, whether it's regarding data collection or review or the overall case management, helps actually avoid confusion overall later on. And also it helps to align the team and the clients on the expectations. And I think also the efficient resource management, especially when we are dealing with deadlines that are really tight. So managing resources, talking about both human and also technological, is essential. That's what helps us leveraging what tools to use. Is it essential to use an AI-driven tool as Lorenzo's example, for example, or are we more inclined to be using an analytical tool, for example? And of course, to keep always in mind flexibility and I think adaptability, because as I said, high stakes investigations are always unpredictable. So we need always to keep an adjustable approach, because there are always new challenges that are arising. And the discovery of new evidence is always possible. So we need to keep kind of small scale for that so that we can adapt.
Thank you. That's great. So we've got a couple of minutes left. So I've just got one final question for both of you. Lorenzo, if you'd like to go first. How would you summarize your prediction on the transformation of data review efficiency for 2025?
I think that multiple AI technology, artificial intelligence technology, will help in boosting the productivity in some use cases. Not for everyone, but in some use cases, that will be a really big boost once the hype will settle down. And then we will start to discuss and focus about ethics, compliance, data privacy, that are all difficult conversations that at some point we need to have in order to completely embrace the benefit of artificial intelligence. Until it's just a shiny toy that changes every 2 months, no one will be comfortable in throwing the data of an high-stake investigation to that kind of artificial intelligence. But there are some part of artificial intelligence that is already in day-by-day use. But on the other side, the large language models are something really interesting. Then that's my, it's not a prediction, it's something that is already happening. I let the guru do the predictions and just a practitioner.
Adam, last but not least, would you like to cover that one?
Yeah, well, I think that we are all aware that, of course, based on how growing the volume and capacity of the digital evidence is becoming, our ways or our traditional ways of making review and reviewing data is not sustainable anymore. So of course, we are all looking for alternative ways. So that's why, as Lorenzo said, we are looking for this shiny new thing that is called AI. But I think that, for 2025, I think maybe, again, and hopefully the new thing would be to find the balance between automation and with the automation, but also with the strict controls, as I said before, because we are handling as well confidential data and really high stake data, which will maybe ensure that AI will enhance efficiency, but without compromising the integrity of the forensic investigation that we are leading.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, so that concludes our questions. I will hand back to Lillian, but I just want to say a massive thank you to Adam and to Lorenzo. Thank you so much for your time and participation in this session.
Thank you, Catherine. That was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much from my side as well. Yeah, so as there weren't any questions during the session, it was all very clear, and we thank you again very much for the session. And as the next session in just 9 minutes will start, it will be John Price from West Midlands Police talking about leading the way West Midlands Police innovation with cloud-based digital forensics and digital crime scene triage. So also a very interesting topic. And to listen to that or to join that, you don't have to do anything. Just stay on the line, and you will be directed automatically to the next webinar. Yeah. So see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.